Evening. How you doing? It is 7 p.m. Thursday night, which means it's Jam Station live stream time. So my name's Arron. I'm here every Thursday, and I'm currently showing you different ways of learning and absorbing the modes. So whether or not you've been joining in every week, or if this is your first time, I'm sure you'll learn something tonight. Take your guitar playing and a little bit of music theory forward. We're going to finish with some ear training as well for good measure. That probably won't be until around 7:30, maybe even 7:45, depending on how the lesson goes. So we've been looking at our modes in parallel this last few weeks, okay? So that means rather than play all of our modes diatonically or in the same key, we're playing them all from the same root note. We're playing all of them from E, okay? So they will be in parallel keys. So this would be E Lydian, this would be E Phrygian, you see, but they all start from the same note. Now let me show you tonight's exercise in full to the backing track so you can see what you're letting yourself in for, and then I'll expand upon what I've just said. Last week we played the modes in ascending thirds, okay? So rather than play straight through the mode, from every single note we went up a third. Okay, you'll hear people who talk about Barry Harris talking about this, but it's a normal thing for practicing, and it's a great way of absorbing a new scale or a new mode. Okay, so tonight we're going to do, last week was ascending thirds, tonight we're descending. Okay, so I'm going to start from the root note here, the octave here, and come down a third each time. Right, here we go. I've got my Stream Deck set up, which is pretty cool. Yeah, jump in at any point with questions, but I'm going to start by playing this exercise. 2, 3, 4. Right, I need to remember, I need to look at the camera, not on my laptop screen. So, right, so that was the full exercise. Okay. Now, the backing track I just played over is free on Bandcamp. Okay, that's linked below in the description, as is the tab. So the tab to everything I just played there is also free, not on Bandcamp, but on our Patreon. Okay, that's also linked below. So click the link, go and download that, and you will be ready to follow it through. Now, modes can be a really exciting thing for any musician to learn, though for some reason they do pop up in guitar education a lot. Okay, perhaps because we find them in a lot of different guitar-centric styles of music, instrumental rock monsters such as Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. They're really synonymous with using the Lydian mode, for example, to create a sort of sense of a really ethereal, mysterious quality to some of their tunes. You'll also hear the second mode Dorian in a lot of funk and soul music. These are styles that obviously feature a lot of guitar. Blues, a lot of sophisticated players such as Robin Ford, they will go beyond their blues scale and expand into the mixed Lydian mode for quite a cool bluesy sound over a static dominant chord. Okay, and obviously blues and guitar, they come hand in hand. Naturally, you'll hear jazz musicians talking about different modes all the time, just as they explore different sounds over new chords. But modes can be intimidating as well, okay? It's something that students ask a lot of questions about. So this series is there to demystify the theory as well as explore different ways of practicing them, helping you to distinguish between the different modes, okay? Understand which intervals change. And that, doing it in parallel, as I said earlier, playing them all from the same root note, that really enables us to hear the difference between the modes and then understand what's changing. So again, tab's free. Links in the description. Let's get started. So what can you expect to gain from tonight's guitar lesson? What are our objectives? Number one, bring my arm around, technical development. Okay, so we're going to improve the coordination between your left and right hands and thirds. Okay, we're breaking out of standard up and down the scale in a linear way. So this is great technical development. Technique. Number two, fresh sounds. Guitarists are quick to learn the major scale and the pentatonics. Okay, the modes open up a huge a whole new sound palette, excuse me, with each new mode creating a different atmosphere to experiment with, to improvise with, to compose with. Music theory, number 3. So some people find this scary, okay, but I love music theory. If you've been watching any videos on this channel, you'll have seen that already, and a little knowledge can really help navigate your musical journey, trust me, without sort of sterilizing what you're doing. So we'll be talking about intervals, which interval changes as we move from mode to mode, which intervals make up our arpeggios, etc. This is great knowledge. And finally, rhythm skills. We're going to be playing a 16th note study, okay. A classical musician might call these semiquavers, but it's either way, it's a great workout for your picking hand. Right, so I'm going to go straight into it. Again, stop me at any point if you have any questions. How many of you? Okay. So the first one, if you look at the tab, is Lydian. I'm going to start with Lydian straight away tonight. So we're going to start at the top. The last few weeks we have been starting with the major scale and then adapting that to Lydian, but we're going to go straight in with Lydian. So Lydian, just if you've not played it before, is essentially like a major scale, but we're going to sharpen the 4th, okay? So I'm going to go root, 2nd, 3rd, and instead of the perfect 4th that you'd get in the major scale, you've got a sharp 4. It's a really beautiful sound, okay? And the rest of the notes are the same as the major scale, okay? So Lydian is this, down, and we've got a major 7th there as well. Now with the thirds, when you play your scales in thirds, basically for each note we're descending today, if we're starting from the octave, we're going to skip the 7th, which is the next note down, and go straight to the 6th. Okay, so octave to 6th, then the 7th, skip the 6th, go to the 5th, 6th, go to the 4th, or in this case a sharp 4 in Lydian. Okay, let's start with these 3 as a way of warming our hands up. So the exercise, if you're looking at the tab, will be 9 to 6, okay, root to 6th, 8 to 9, 6 to 8. Let's get that in a little bit of a loop. We'll start it slowly. Okay, I'm inside picking that, alternate picking that, but you'll notice I'm going down on the higher string, then up onto the lower string. Okay, so I'm staying within that string boundary, that's inside picking. Okay, let's move on to the next string as well. The next string, we're going 5th to 3rd, sharp 4 to 2nd, 3rd to root. Loop that. Okay, so 9 to 6, 8 to 9, 6 to 8. Oh, 6 to 7. So slightly different finger into the other string pattern. Start it slowly. Again, I'm alternate picking it. Right, let's join those 2 up. Okay, hopefully you'll hear me okay. So the first little sequence was, and then let's do those with the little gap first of all. The reason I'm leaving those gaps is so there's no bottlenecks build up as you're putting the 2 cells together. Okay, one more time. Right, and now let's try that without the gap. Okay. Playing 16th notes tonight. When you're counting 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. Okay, it's 4 notes per click. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a... And then that actually leaves us just to our last third, okay, which is going to be 2nd, down to the 7th, finish on the root. Okay, so actually we're finishing quite easily there. I'm going to join that all together. And then the last one there. second to seventh to root. Okay, we go below the root to come back to it. Right, let's try that. Let's try that together. 3 E and a 4 am. Right, well, there's nothing to it. Let's do that to the backing track. So that's our first one, Lydian, with our sharp 4. Okay, let's go back to Logic. Let's give you Logic as well so you can see what we're doing. Let's see what I'm going to zoom in on it. So you can see where we are actually. It's my backing track I've set up. So yeah, the actual recorded version of this backing track is on, there we go, is on Bandcamp. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Yes, you are. Right, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Lydian. One down. 6 to go. Right, so that was Lydian. Now, the next mode, if you're looking at the tab, is Ionian, also known as our major scale. So if you're new to modes, you probably will know this one anyway. Ionian is the Greek name. It's almost the same as Lydian. We just, rather than having a sharp 4, we have a perfect 4th. Okay, you probably played that before, but if you haven't, just run it up and down a few times to get it under the fingers. So we don't have to change much, and in fact, as we move from mode to mode tonight, the very purpose of this system is that with every new mode, we're only changing one note at a time. So obviously, we're always going to change a note because each mode has a different sequence of notes, but we're able to get from the first one, Lydian, all the way down to Locrian by just changing one note each time. It makes the whole system feel very manageable. So wherever we were playing the sharp 4 before, we're now going to play a perfect 4. Okay, so our first 3 notes, root, 7, 6, remain the same, but the thirds will not be. So root to 6, 7 to 5th, that's the same, but then 6 to 4th. Okay, so that's changed. You'll see that in the tab. 9, 6, 8, 9, 6, 7. Let's loop that. Inside picking. If you wanted to work on your outside picking, you could also do that, but you need to start with an up. Oh, that's Lydian again. Okay, I find that a bit less comfortable. We actually had a little bit of a chat last week about inside and outside picking, pros and cons. But for this particular thing here, moving across 2 adjacent strings, I definitely find inside picking more comfortable. Right, the next one, obviously now we are going to go through the 4th, so 5th to 3rd, perfect 4th to 2nd, 3rd to root. So 9 to 6, 7 to 9, 6 to 7. Loop that, get it under the fingers. You want to be able to do, you want to be able to talk while you're playing it really, because then you really know you haven't got to think too hard about the physical part of it. Just checking I've got no... Okay. Right. Let's join those 2 sections together. With a gap first of all. So... Okay, that was your first 3. And then the next 3. Gap. Okay, we don't want any bottlenecks, and then let's add in the 2 together. 3 E and a 4 and 3 and 4 E and then finally again we've still got a major 7th in the scale, so it's going to be 2nd to 7th root. 2nd to 7th root. All together. 3 and 4 E and. Right, let's try those to the backing track. So let's give you logic. Why not? And here we go. 2, 3 and 4 E and. So Lydian. Into Ionian. We are back. Right, so 2 down, 5 to go. There's one more mode which has our major third, which is Mixolydian. So again, if you're looking at the tab's linked in the description. You can download it for free. We've still got one more scale with a major third, Mixolydian, but we're now flattening the 7th. So imagine you've got Ionian, your major scale. You're now going to flatten the 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Flatten it. So we've got root, major third, flat 7. Gives us that nice little dominant 7 triad. Okay, root, third, 7th, which really defines the sound of Mixolydian. It's a really bluesy, jazzy sound. Okay, it's the foundation of all those cool chords. Right, so this means when we come to start our descending thirds, our 3 notes have changed, or at least the middle one has. So 7th to, root to 6, flat 7 to 5th, 6 to 4th, and okay, 9 to 6, 7 to 9, 6 to 7. Now, when you're learning stuff like this, which is new, okay, new fingerings, new scales, whatever, it's always a good idea. Excuse me. It's always a good idea to learn in small chunks like this. So rather than read the tab really slowly and follow every single note through, I mean, that probably feels good when you get to the end, but you're not absorbing it quickly. While if you break it down into small, manageable chunks, okay, those are really easy to remember, and therefore we can build up the speed nice and quickly. So those are our first 3 notes on the G string. If we move on to the D string, 5, 9, 7, 6. So our thirds will be 9 to 6, 7 to 9, 6 to 7. And loop it. Obviously at your own pace. Two together with a tiny gap. Okay, so from the 9, 3 E and a 4 and then now these two are actually symmetrical. They're the same pattern. Okay, exactly the same here. So that shouldn't be too difficult to build up the speed with. And okay, and take notice of that flat 7. Now, interestingly, because we've got a flat 7 here, that means we also need to have a flat 7 beneath our root. Obviously, it will need switching in both octaves. So that is a D, that is a D. So if I play the whole exercise through, second, flat 7, root. Okay, so you've got a little bit of a stretch there. If you're used to playing 3-note string shapes, okay, that will probably feel pretty comfortable. Make sure you're using the second finger there to open out this joint here. Don't sort of use the third. That may feel easier at first. That's every reason not to do it, okay? Open that finger out, open the hand out. It will appreciate it. Right, so the full thing. 3 E and a 4 and. time. 3 and 4 EM. Good. Now, before we play those 3 to the backing track, to summarize, Lydian had a sharp 4, so we flattened that to play Ionian, and then we're going to flatten the 7th to play Mixolydian. Okay, right, let's do those to the backing track. Let's give you logic. Let's give me logic. 2, 3, 4 EM. 2, 3, 4 EM. Ionian. Okay, so I opened up the finger there. Back to OBS. I'm on OBS. I'm playing with my new Stream Deck. So if you had joined me for any of these a few weeks ago, I had one mic. Everything was going through one mic. So hopefully it looks and sounds better now. Right, those are our 3 modes with a major third. Let's go to our 4th mode in the tab. Tab's linked in Patreon, by the way. It's free. Go get it. It's in the description. We're now going to flatten the 3rd. So this brings us into our minor modes. So this was Mixolydian with a flattened 7th. Okay, but our 3rd, G sharp, is going to be flattened to a G natural. But we're not going to play it there. We're going to play it there. So move your G onto the A string. Every other note stays the same. So root, 2nd, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, flat 7. Now in all of the exercises we've done to date, that 6th C sharp has been played there. We're actually going to move that onto the D string as well. So 1 note has changed, but we've actually changed the fingering on 2 notes now. So the fingering is going to be 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 11. Okay, so major 6. So again, open out the middle finger there. And then back to the 3rd finger. If you've not done that sort of position shift, just practice that a few times. So that's Dorian, a minor mode with a major 6. Right, so I'm going to start this one with my middle finger. All of them so far I've started with the little finger, but because we're now going down to the 6th here rather than here, change the finger. So root to 6th, 7th to 5th. Okay, nice and easy that. Down, up, inside picking. And then onto the D string, we've got 6 to 4, 5 to flat 3, 4 to 2. Okay, so we switch back to our 3rd finger there. Okay, join the 2 string sets together. Okay, that's from the G string. And that's from the D string. And finally, 3rd to root, 2nd to flat 7. So the flat 7 we had before was down there. Okay, that's because we were finishing the root with our middle finger, so we could stretch back to the flat 7 there, D natural. But now we're in this position with our index finger at fret 7. We don't want to have to slide back, so that D natural we're going to play there rather than there. Okay. Let's put it together. Ready? 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and once more 4 and no 3 and 4 and right, good. Test, 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 test. You can hear me all right, hopefully. Let me know if I'm too quiet. It looks good in the meter. What's the balance like between my guitar and my voice? Obviously, in here it sounds fine, but I can't hear what you're hearing. Let's join that to the list, okay, on the backing track. So we're going to go Lydian, flatten the 4th Ionian, flatten the 7th to Mixolydian, flatten the 3rd, gives us a minor mode now, into Dorian. Let's do it to the backing track. Give you logic. 2, 3, and 4 and Lydian, Ionian, let's do that again. 3 and 4 and well done. Crumbled there. I was actually just about to say, notice you switch fingers there, and then threw myself off scent. Right, so Dorian. That beautiful major 6 coupled with the minor 3rd gives us a really cool sound. But in for our next mode, if you're looking at the tab, is Aeolian, and that has a flattened 6th. Okay, so our little finger there, C sharp, is going to move down to a C natural. Okay, flat 6, 5th. It's a bit of a nasty sound, if I'm honest. But it does make this whole exercise easy to play now, because we haven't got to worry about changing fingers. The hands start in this position, they stay in that position all the way through, okay? So it's one of the easiest ones. In fact, in pretty much every modes session I've done, I always end up saying Aeolian is the easiest one. And it's also one that a lot of you may have played in your early lessons. If you had lessons as a child, for example, maybe you did some grades, okay? You would have learned that as your natural minor scale. Right, so start from the root down to the flat 6, flat 7 to 5th. Okay, nice and easy. These all give us a good workout for the little finger. If you're one of these pentatonic players who just uses your 3rd finger, this will get you out of that. Then from the D string, 10 to 7, 9 to 10 onto the A string, 7 to 9, okay? Remember, you're playing a note going down a 3rd, down a 3rd, down a 3rd. Still inside picking. Let's join those two together, okay? From the G string, from the D string, and then from the A string we have 10 to 7, which is the 3rd to the root, 9 to 10, which is the 2nd to the flat 7, finish on our root note. And again, inside picking, okay? Down, up, staying within the string boundaries there, onto the root. Let's put it all together, starting from the root note 9, okay? This is Aeolian if you're looking at the tab. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and right, let's join that to the others, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of improvisation to a pad, just so you can hear why we learn all these modes in parallel like this. Right, let's give you logic. Let's give me logic. Here we go. So this is Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian, Dorian, and now our latest one, Aeolian. 2, 3, and 4 and. far, so good. Right. So you might wonder why is he teaching the modes in parallel? Okay, so it's just a little bit of a break for you. Conventionally, we learn the modes in the order that they're presented in the scale. So you've learned that, you know, the major scale is your first scale, the root scale, if you like, the tonic scale, and that's called the Ionian mode. Then if we build that scale from the second note, you get Dorian. So in C major, you'd have D Dorian. Then the third mode, if you go from the third note E, would be E Phrygian. So they learn in a different order. What that doesn't really do is to give us a direct comparison between how they sound and the sort of atmosphere that they create, because we're learning each one from a different root note: C major, D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G mixed Lydian, etc. Okay, it's useful knowledge, but this is a far more practical way of looking at them, because you really get to hear the difference. So if I, for example, if I'm going to put on a pad in Logic, right? So let's give you Logic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo the guitar. I'm going to solo this pad, which is a thing called Dream Stealer. It's Absinthe. I don't know if you guys have Absinthe. I absolutely love Absinthe. Okay. So now if I hit play, got a nice dreamy sound there. So what I'm going to do, so this is just an E root with a bit of a dreamy ambience, a bit of reverb. So if I pick a mode, okay, so let's start with Lydian. I'm not going crazy because I want to hear the notes ring out. Okay, I want to create an atmospheric melody. I want to see what the notes of this mode inspire. And obviously the sharp 4 is important because it's like the really very distinctive note. But the 7th is also important because it's a major. 7th we'll call it a leading note. Okay. As is the 9th. Just go up an octave. So 9th, 7th, sharp 4. I'm not really messing around with the 5th. Okay. 7th again. Obviously the root to bring it home. Right, so parallel modes really comes into play here if I switch to a different mode in E. So let's do Phrygian, which is going to be the next mode that we do. Okay, now Phrygian, the distinctive note, if you like, is flat 2. Obviously it has a flat 3rd. Flat 7, flat 2. Really, really lovely, isn't it? Okay, so that rather than play the 9th there, which I did with Lydian, got a flat 9, okay, to match my flat 2. Let's do one more. This is a great way of sort of like improvising, but outside of a backing track. You haven't got the drums and the bass and riffs and things creating interest for you. You've got to create interest with your own sense of melody, okay? And that is a great thing to do. And you might initially feel like, oh man, this is really hard. You know, this sounds boring, but in actual fact, it really develops your ear and helps you to find the important notes. Let's do Mixolydian. Mixolydian is a cool scale for blues. Jazz on a static dominant chord. You don't create much tension with Mixolydian, but it's great over a static chord. It also, when used in a situation like this, it really creates a sort of, I always think it sounds quite Irish. You've got the flat 7, but with the major 3rd. Quite Celtic, okay? That sounds very sort of Celtic to me, okay? Got the arpeggio. And we can try some of these descending 3rd licks that we've been working on tonight. You don't necessarily need to go through it all. You know, you can just sort of ran into it a little bit there. Start with it. Right, you get the idea. It's actually nice for me to have a little break from the exercise as well. So let's take that off solo, take that off solo. Let's go back to OBS. Let's give you OBS. Now you want to see all of me. Definitely recommend trying that sort of thing. Set yourself up a loop on just the root note. You could do root fifth. Okay, obviously root fifth will clash if you're going to play Locrian, because Locrian contains the diminished fifth, as you'll see in a minute. Right, we're down to our last two modes. So we had Aeolian. Let's just have a quick glance at... I can't see how many people are online with OBS. Okay, been a few of you. It's good. We had Aeolian. Our new note was the flat 6. Okay. We're now going to take our F sharp, which is our natural second, and flatten it. So F natural is a flat 2. Get it under your fingers. Just run it up and down a few times. Okay, double pick it. Triple pick it, why not? Okay. Make sure every single note is clean. Okay, it doesn't need to be fast. Quadruples, 5s even, why not? University, university, university. What are we doing? We're doing Phrygian, aren't we? Really try and tap your foot with that. University, 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 university. Okay, ready? Feel the 5. Right, so the thirds. Pull my headphones straight off my head. So we're going to go root to flat 6, flat 7 to 5th. When setting that up, you need to roll that really, look. Roll, roll. Rolling's one of those things that I think 95% of my students, when you show them that, they really don't like doing it. It feels like a lot of bother when you can just use another finger, but it's actually a really useful technique. Little loops like this, they're great for encouraging someone to start looking at rolls. It's not too difficult. You'll notice I'm actually exaggerating the movement quite a lot. Tip, pad. This is not a rolling lesson, but if you're looking to find ways of making your solos less scalic, rolls are absolutely and utterly necessary. Okay, because you're going up a 4th. Right, and then from the D string, we've got 6 to 4th, 5th to 3rd, and then 4th to flat 2nd. Beautiful, okay? Loop it, down, up, down, up, down, up. No rolls in this one. A useful loop though, because it uses all 4 fingers, okay? We like those. Anything that uses all 4 fingers is great. If you was a bit of a speed machine and you wanted to sort of get the metronome on and really gun that, build up the speed with a little loop like that would be great. Again, we were talking about inside and outside picking last week, so inside picking would be down, 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 so then up onto the lower string. Outside picking would be up, up, up. There's a few shorts on my on the channel. If you wanted to do a search, you'll find quite a few videos where I talk about inside and outside picking. Okay, let's join those two together. Okay, and then finally, so finally repeat on the A string, 10 to 7, flat 2 to flat 7, root. And. One more. Right, let's string it all together. So this is Phrygian. If you're looking at the tab, tab's linked below. Okay, go and get it from Patreon. It's free. 3 and 4 and 3 and and that low E, that F natural with the flat 2 is really nice, really dramatic and exotic. Oh. So, if you want to hear the Phrygian in use, a more contemporary track would be Jamiroquai, Deeper Underground. Don't know if you're fans of Jamiroquai. I used to love Jamiroquai when I was a teenager. Really cool sort of funk stuff. So Deeper Underground has their bum ba-dum ba-dum bum. I don't know what key it's in. There you go. So root, 5th, flat 2. Then ba 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 ba. That's Phrygian in a more sort of modern setting. If you want something a little bit more old school, Flamenco Sketches by Miles Davis. I'm writing a short for this one. I cannot stop listening to this song. But so Miles Davis basically lays out a sequence of modes for the guys in his band to improvise over. They literally take it and just literally go through each mode one at a time, and they use Phrygian. I think it's the 4th mode in the sequence. So if you listen to that, you'll be able to hear Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Cannonball Adderley, and Bill Evans on piano. They all have a go at improvising with different modes and Phrygian. Coltrane actually turns it into Phrygian dominant at one point, so he, rather than root, flat 2nd, flat 3rd, he raises the 3rd. Cool, flat 2nd. Maybe I'll play that there. Yeah, that'd be better. Which is even more sort of Spanish. But yeah, so that's Flamenco Sketches by Miles Davis. It's off the Kind of Blue album. But that's a beautiful example of Phrygian. Right, let's do those to the backing track. So that's all but one now. Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian, Dorian into the minor modes, Aeolian, and now Phrygian. Let's give you logic, give me logic. Here we go. 2, 3, 4 Lydian. No, just trying to mix Lydian like an idiot. 4 There's Mixolydian. Boom. Right, one to go. You guys have been quiet on the chat tonight, I must admit. So I've had nothing through. Hopefully the chat deck is working. I should probably check here. Let's just check on my other computer as well. Well, I'm just assuming that everybody's having such a great time that they can't even tear their eyes away from the screen to leave a comment. Right, the last one is Locrian. Okay, so we're now down the bottom line of the tab. We take, again, we're only changing one note each time. We're starting with our flat 2 and Phrygian. There's Phrygian. We're going to flatten the 5th. Okay, so root, flat 2nd, flat 3rd, 4th. Flattened 5th or diminished 5th to give it its correct term. Flat 6, flat 7. So they've all been flattened, every single one. Flat 7, flat 6, flat 5th. Natural 4th. Remember, we started with a sharp 4 with Lydian. Flat 2, 3, flat 2, 1. Flat 5 there. Okay, so this scale has a diminished triad in it. Root, flat 3rd, flat 5th. So, picking wise, rather than go to the natural 5th there, so we're going root, flat 6, 7, flat 5. Again, nice little loop that uses all 4 fingers. Okay, it's very unpentatonic-like. And then from the D string, 10, so it's flat flat 6 to 4th, flat 5 to flat 3, 4th to flat 2. So that doesn't use the 3rd finger. Loop it. No, loop that. Let's join the two together, okay? Now, if you may start to find this harder as we get further and further from the major scale and Lydian, okay? Because the fingering is changing every single time, so you may need to be a bit more careful with what fingers you're using. Okay, take it slowly. You want to feel natural, and then from the A string, 3rd, root, flat 2nd, flat 7, octave. That's the same as Phrygian because we're not touching the 5th. And still a useful little loop to get in under the fingers. And. Right, let's join them all together. What time is it? 3 and 4 and. Right. Let's do this to the backing track. You ready? Let's go logic. Give you logic. Give me logic. I'm getting used to saying that. Here we go. Every single one. 2, 3, and 4 and. Ionian. Flat the 4th. Mixolydian. Dorian. Aeolian. Held it together. Oh, I'm with you. Right. So that's all of them. That's everything. That's the whole lesson. Okay. So as I said before, if you've just come in, tab is available for free on Patreon. You better watch the whole thing from the beginning afterwards because this will just go up onto the channel as a live stream. We're now going to do some ear training. So if you've just come in for that, then welcome. I've prepared an ear training session. Okay, so we're going to do some singing. We're going to do some interval recognition. We're going to do some... put that there, right in front of the camera. Do some triad recognition. Okay, so we'll scoot through this. Just going to retune quickly because it's not really fair to ask you to work on your intervals with an out-tuned guitar. Now, if you're doing this with me, feel free to just leave a comment if you know the answer or if you want me to repeat anything or explain something. Okay, there is an interval cheat sheet on our Patreon that is also free. A lot of it is free. That doesn't mean to say you shouldn't join and become a paid member. There's a lot more of you guys joining as free members than there are paid members. I know that much. So, and it's $2 a month. What is wrong with you guys? $2. So, we are perfectly back in tune. Right, so how this will work. I'm with you. I'm going to play the root note and then I'll play an interval. You're going to get 1 to 12. You want to write down 1 to 12 on your paper or on your computer screen or laptop or whatever. There'll be one of each interval. There'll be all of the diatonic intervals, so root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, octave, and one of each of the non-diatonic intervals, flat 2, flat 3, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7. Okay, but they're all in the same test now. They're not separated. It's to make it a little bit harder week by week. So here we go. Hopefully you can hear that okay. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Right, number 1. Don't look at my hands. I'm not going to turn my back on you. I did that before and I realised that anyone tuning in to the live stream would see me with my back to the camera and think, what's going on here? So I'm going to keep looking at the camera. I'm playing at the camera, but you need to not look at my fingers and make this too easy. Okay? Right, number 1, here we go. That is our first interval. What is it? Okay, that is it melodically. Here it is harmonically. Number 2. That was from an E. Number 2. There is the interval melodically. Here it is harmonically. We're going to separate these very soon. Harmonic intervals, melodic intervals. Melodic, harmonic. If you want me to repeat one, just leave a comment, okay? I'll happily do it again. I've got them all written down so I'll know what they are. Number 3. Ba, 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 ba. Here we go. What interval is that? Number 3. Good. Number 4. What interval is that? That's number 4. Melodic, harmonic. Number 5. That is it. That's number 5. And number 6 is here. Right, so that was melodic, harmonic. We're going to go to number 7. Here we go. Number 7 is this. Let's go low. That's number 7. Okay, dropping in a few lower as well. The reason for that being, if they're all in the mid-range of the guitar, then they're actually easier to pick up. While if you go low or high, like beyond your vocal range, your typical vocal range, obviously some people will be able to hear that fine. We're down there, sorry for my G. Then it just gets slightly harder. So again, if I take that up a couple of octaves, you'll find, if we go from there, that's the same interval. That suddenly feels a lot different. That's 3 octaves higher, even though it's exactly the same 2 notes. Right, number 8. Here we go. Number 8. Oh, it says what is going on with the signal. Good string level, okay? Let me know in the chat if there's some signal problems. Let's close that. Close that. Close everything. In fact, let's take this computer off the Wi-Fi. That's number 8. Okay. Number 7 was this. Number 8 is this. And number 9 is this. Okay, what interval is that? That is number 9, melodically and harmonically. Number 10. There's 10. Okay, it's a nice sound that in that kind of range. Okay, I love that. I love the way the notes shimmer. That should tell you there's a clue there. They're actually quite close together. Number 11. Let's go a bit higher, just because we can. Okay, it's number 11. Melodically and harmonically. And finally, number 12. Slightly, a little bit of intonation there. It's better. Could try it down here. want any of those again, you need to let me know in the comments now. Otherwise, I'm going to give you the answers. Okay. I know there's a little bit of a delay. So, hopefully the level's picked up. I've had a really, excellent level again. Good. Suddenly dropped. Right. Let's move on with the answers. So number 1 was a fourth. We went from an E. Okay. If you've got the internet cheat, if you've got the cheat sheet in front of you, you'll see that that's Here Comes the Bride. Here comes. Need to release an ear if I'm going to hear my voice. Here comes. Number 2 was a 6th. Oh, I've got 2 6s in here. Okay, well, too late now. I'm giving you the answers. Number 2 is a 6th. Okay. Which is My Way. And now. Number 3 was a flat 2, which I did from a B up to a C. Okay, they clash quite violently. So melodically, that's the Jaws theme. Harmonically, it's just a mess. Number 4 was a flat 7. Okay, nice bluesy sound. Sort of a pentatonic. Number 5 was a 5. Let's see what I did there. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Number 6 was a major 3rd. Harmonically, it's a nice sound. Number 7 was a flat 5. This is the one I played low. Okay, The Simpsons. But then just to show you how different it is when they move up through the octaves. Okay. From a G. Okay, my intonation's slightly out on this guitar. Might need some new strings. That sounds quite different. So that is a flattened 5th or diminished 5th. Number 8. Which may have been from a B actually. Yes, it was. Major 7th. Number 8 was a major 7th. Okay. It's a major 7th. Number 9 was a flattened 3rd. Whole lot of love if you're a Zepp fan. If you're more of a classical musician, green sleeves. Okay. But that is the chord you would hear in a minor triad. Okay. That is the very note that gives a minor chord its minor quality. So minor 3rd. Number 10 is a 2nd, which I think I did E up to F sharp. Is also a tone. That's the one where I said it shimmers nicely. Okay, when you've got two notes that are close together, that means the frequency of the 2 notes kind of clash. But here in a very pleasing way, while the flat 2nd is much more violent. Here it's sort of a nice shimmer. If you put that into a chord, it can sound really, really lovely. Look at that. Root, 2nd, 6th. Let's do root 2nd, 7th. So I don't know this way. Root, 2nd, 7th, and sharp 4. Okay, let's replace that sharp 4 with a 5th. Someone who may not quite like that. Yeah, it's a bit dreamier. But again, the bottom of that chord is that. Okay. Right, so the reason I laughed earlier is because 11th I also did a 6th because I couldn't read my own writing. I'd written down flat 6. So I'd actually played a major 6th again. I played it here. Okay, the flat 6 would be there. Okay, which is the James Blunt You're Beautiful riff. Okay, and finally number 12 was an octave. Okay, somewhere. Right, hopefully you got 12 out of 12. If you didn't, it absolutely doesn't matter one bit. This is something we work on week by week, and your ears get stronger and stronger until you hear all of these intervals. Right, we've got time, so let's have a go at... we're going to sing. I just want a little exercise you can do whilst playing some of these scales. We go to the major scale. Okay, and what you can do is try and sing thirds. Yeah, I'm just going to go on to... There we go. There's our major scale. And I'm going to sing thirds with it. So the third of that note would be... Now what I'm going to do is, as I move through the scale, I'm going to try and keep my voice a third away. This is not easy at first, but it's absolutely worth experimenting with when you're in the comfort of your own home, or you go and sit in the middle of a park with your own guitar, acoustic guitar, and just try this, okay? So... Now, as I start, the test that you've got that right is if you started a third above there, if you get up an octave, you should also be singing a third there, okay? Which would be that note there. So let's test it. Arron. Moved into Lydian. Okay, it's a great exercise. And again, don't be worried if you try that and it sounds catastrophic at first. I mean, I just went wrong there while I was doing that. It's a really, really good one for sort of building a relationship between your voice and being able to harmonize. Obviously, being able to harmonize and do a few backing vocals is a great way of making yourself more attractive if you want to join a band. Be honest, if you're auditioning for a band and you don't sing backing vocals and there's a guy whose guitar playing is kind of similar level to yours, but he's really confident with backing vocals, most bands will give that guy the job. And I can tell you now, the singer will always want the guy who can sing backing vocals and take a bit of pressure off them and support them. So this is a great way. I've been out singing thirds, okay? Just do it for a few minutes every day and it will soon start to come together. Right, let's do some triads. Now, I've been playing these as chords, okay? So the 4 types of triad are major, minor, we have diminished, and augmented. So what I'm going to do, just to make it a bit different, I want each sort of ear training session to get a little bit harder. Rather than play those as chords, I'm going to play them as arpeggios, which I think I did last week as well. So you're going to hear a root, a third, and a fifth, okay? So I'll probably play an octave as well. Why not? So this would be, for example, a major triad. Let's try it like that. Okay? For example. Right, here we go. So number 1, I'm going to do 6. Okay, so there'll be two of them and 1 of each of the other ones. Okay, right, here we go. Number 1. Don't look at my hand. That's number 1. What kind of triad is that? Again, you can drop a comment. Right, number 2. I've actually kept the same root note there, which makes that a little bit easier for you. Or low. Try that in position. Hello. There we go. day. That was number 2. Number 3. Let's go up a little bit. What kind of triad is that? Don't look at my hands. Number 4. What kind of triad is that? Close your eyes. That's number 4. Number 5. What kind of triad is that? Okay, you've got a root, certain type of third, certain type of fifth, another root. And finally, number 6. What kind of triad is this? Let's go a bit higher so I'm not going to stretch my fingers too much. So there's a root, there's a third, there's a fifth, and then an octave. What kind of triad is that? Same quality is good. Okay, glad to hear that. So I was a bit worried because there's been no comments tonight. Although you would hope that if the sound was crap, someone would comment and say, "Can't hear you, dude." So Ryan, what kind of triad is that? I don't know if we've actually done these. Major, minor, augmented, or diminished. Right, the answers. Number 1, right, I need to start looking here again. Number 1 was minor. So I believe I played that here. Root, flat third, fifth, octave there. You can just about hold that down. That's like a C-shaped minor chord. It's extremely unusual. To be honest, if you were playing that, I played it at a gig quite recently actually, but you'd just forget the root and you'd play third, fifth, octave there. It was diminished, yeah. We should do that, mate. We should do that. And get you playing some licks as well. Right, so number 1 was minor, C-shaped. Number 2 I did was diminished. I actually played it from the same root note originally, which was lazy. Okay, so we had root, flat third, flat and fifth, and then the octave, but the important part is that root, flat third, fifth. There's lots of ways I can make this more difficult for you guys, okay, because start to play inversions and things, but all of these are in order at the minute: root, then the third, then the fifth. So that's diminished. Number 3 was major. I moved that up here. Okay, so root, major third, perfect fifth. Nice sound. Number 4 was minor. I thought I played my major there. Apologies. And then minor I played down here, F minor. Root, flat third, fifth, root again. Okay, that's, if you move that up to fret 5, that's your opening chord in Stairway to Heaven. Okay. Why is it important to be able to hear? In fact, I've got comments coming in 2 windows now. Why is it important to be able to hear what's being played? Maybe a dumb question. So you can follow along with someone. Well, I mean, so there's so many ways that, so for example, a great way to improve your transcribing, if you want to work out licks, and transcribing doesn't need to be something that just jazz musicians do either, you know, like transcribing just to improve your ear. You can actually, like, maybe you've heard something. I get the intervals testing element. Yeah, so this is the same with the triads though. If you recognize the sound, if you recognize that sound as diminished, then straight away when you're trying to work out a lick or a riff and you can hear, well, there's a diminished triad in there because those 3 notes together make that sound. So I should be looking at that. Then that speeds that whole process up. Okay, equally, another way I would use triads and the sound of them is if I'm writing. Obviously, a lot of people, they like to write songs on the side as part of their guitar journey. In fact, lots of people I know, they like to get into writing their own songs eventually. And sometimes you're strumming chords and you don't want to just randomly search for another chord and then another chord. Maybe you hear in your head where a melody wants to go or the next chord that you want to hear, and diminished. If you know the sound, like I can hear a diminished chord, then you've just got to find it. So for example, diminished chords are really used a lot in blues music. You take your 1 up to 4 up to a sharp 4 diminished, okay? 4. Got it, mate, cool. Right, good, glad to answer that. Did 4, 5 was augmented. Okay, so root, 3rd, sharp 5. And then finally number 6, we finished with a diminished again. Okay, which I think I played there. Root, flat 3rd, flat 5th. Right, well, we've done an hour and 12 minutes. I've enjoyed it. There's so many. Funny thing I've noticed about OBS and YouTube, I came off the stream last week and YouTube had said I'd had loads of views. OBS had said, so OBS I've had 72 views. And I came off, logged out, went into YouTube, and YouTube said I'd had something like 16 views. How does that work? But so OBS has given me a figure. Hopefully YouTube gives me the same figure. Cool. Okay, good. If there's anyone watching, they've got any questions for me or things I'm happy to stay around a bit longer. Otherwise, I'm also happy to go and get some food. You let me know. I'll be here for a little while longer. I'll tell you what I'll do. For those of you who have just tuned in, I will demonstrate. Let's see some of the effects. Well, on Logic, let's go there because I can actually give you guys Logic. Look at that. Boom. Let me go to Logic as well. So, can you see that all right? Let's just make sure it's not, my head's not in the way of that. If I go back to OBS. I need to change the window. You can't see that. So, Logic. No, you can't see my effect. It looks like it won't look at windows. Let's try that. No. Okay, it's not digging that. Okay, that's annoying because I open up my effects. I can talk about them. You just won't be able to see them on screen, which is a shame because obviously going through effects, the interface looks great. I tell you what, Ryan, let's... Yeah, I can see it's just gone black. Let's park that. What I have got, I'll just go through them quickly, but I'd really like to be able to... I've got my effects running into an amp, first of all, which is basically based upon a Fender Twin, okay? So this is Guitar Rig 6. That's so annoying that you can't see it. Logic Pro window. No, still not. Let's just go OK and see what happens. No, okay. It's not having it at all, is it? So, I might need to look into this. Let's go back to me. I might have to look into that, watch a few YouTube videos and work out why. But basically I'm going through an amp. From there I go into like a control room where I can select different microphones. So I'm currently going through a condenser microphone. Okay, I can lift that up and down. I'm then running into a compressor, which I've got set quite slowly. Okay, and I've just basically got that to thicken up the sound a little bit. It's not really clamping down too much. Just smooths out the sound. Then I'm going through two delays. Okay, the first delay, if I turn it up really loud, is actually set to a reverse delay. So the note, can you hear that? The delayed note is actually reversed, so it's given that effect. Okay, and I've set that to a quarter note. Okay, so it's quite a long delay. And it's also set to be slightly out of tune, like lower in pitch than the actual note. Very, very, very subtly. Okay, but it just adds a nice warmth to that. There you go. So you can't really hear that in the mix. I've got that set to 7%. Then I go into a second delay, which is set faster to a dotted eighth note. Okay, let's bring that one up in volume. So you hear this one will bounce around a bit quicker. Okay, I have these set to a very low feedback setting, so they don't ring out for ages. They're just there to add a little bit of ambience, really. The idea is that you guys don't really hear them during the session. So, there you go. And then finally, I'm going into a nice spring reverb, the sort of reverb that you get on an amp. Okay, and I've got that set to 2 seconds, but with all the bass, a lot of the bass removed. Okay, just so that I don't want a lot of low end frequency muddying up the sound, especially as you're probably getting a mono feed of this. Okay, so the bass is removed just to give a bit of ambience. Let me just put the mix up for you so you can hear the reverb. Okay, so it's very much an amp type reverb rather than like a plate, and I have that set quite low as well. Okay, so in fact that's 13%. I have it lower than that. That's about 8%. I have that set. The idea with these delays and reverbs, the idea is that you don't really hear them. Okay, but if I took them away, you really would notice the difference. It would sound dry. In fact, let me take them off. So this is both delays and the reverb gone. There's still one there. That's because that's also going to an external reverb very, very, very gently. Okay, but that's very dry. If I put those back on, tack, tack, tack. There you go, we're back in. Yeah, so a fairly standard setup, really. I'll look into that because it would be cool if I was able to actually show you guys as well. Let's go back to me. Right. I'm probably going to call that a day there. I really enjoyed that tonight. I feel like the more I do it, the better it gets. Thanks for joining in. If you're watching this on one of the edited lessons, you can still go to Patreon and download the tab for free. And the backing track is also free on Bandcamp. Okay. So you can download that, play along, play the full exercise to the backing track. If the backing track's too fast, it's currently set to 72 BPM. Please use a metronome, okay? And as always, drop us a comment with any questions or send us an email. Patreon is currently $2 a month, okay? So obviously we're all broke at the minute. The whole world's broke. But if you can afford that, great. It really helps us out, helps us sort of keep providing this daily content. If you can't, please all sign up as a free member. I'd rather you were free members than not members. Okay, we're sharing loads of the stuff for free anyway. Yeah, I will be here next Thursday. There's a poll on our YouTube page, on the posts page, asking you if we were to start a second live stream, what should it be on? I think the options were the cage system, which I love teaching, sight reading, ear training, which we're doing a little bit of here, but I'd quite like to move it into its own separate thing, or pentatonic deep dive, because there's so many things we can do with pentatonic scales beyond your sort of pentatonic blues licks. Okay, superimposed pentatonics, for example, great. And I would have liked to have put a fifth option, which is music theory as well, where I sort of relate music theory to your guitar. Some people want to learn it but don't know where to start, or they find it boring, while I like to think I'm able to make it quite interesting. So those are your 5 options. Please head over to the posts page and click vote, share it. Okay, it would really, really help us to get a wide spread and find out if I am going to do a second. If you regret ever having clicked on this live feed, wish you'd never see me again, just quietly toddle off. You don't need to say anything. Yeah, otherwise I'll be here next Thursday, 7 p.m. GMT, and I'm already looking forward to it.